In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NFL games happening on October 2nd, 2022, and providing you with team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NFL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. Chicago Bears versus New York Giants. The New York Giants play host to the Chicago Bears on Sunday afternoon in a crucial NFC matchup from MetLife Stadium. Not many expected both of these teams to have winning records at this point when the season started, as both come into the weekend with 2-1 records. The quality of the wins is somewhat lacking for both sides, though the opportunity to improve to 3-1 has to be intriguing for whoever can come away with the win in this one. Home field has been crucial for both finding success this season, which could be a precursor for who comes out on top in this one. The Bears dominated when the two met in January, coming away with the 26-point win at Soldier Field. The Bears have actually won 3 in a row overall in the series, dating back to 2019, though going on the road could be a challenge in this one. Wide receiver Sterling Shepard is on injured reserve, and this is a great spot for Kenny Golladay to emerge once again on the Giants' receiving corps. I trust Saquon Barkley to run the football a lot better than Khalil Herbert so far, as Barkley looks a lot more explosive. The Bears cannot stop the running game. Then, looking at the passing game, Justin Fields has not been trusted to drop back and make passes, as he has 45 passing attempts while Daniel Jones has 59 completions as well. Both teams are dealing with injuries, and that will be a huge issue in terms of depth. But New York is definitely the better team thus far. The Giants have covered the spread in 6 of the last 8 games against the Bears, so the New York Giants to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Even with this number so low, 2 predominantly rushing teams are going to have this clock rolling where there will not be many total plays called. Neither offense is moving the chains, as Chicago is 1-2 of 3-5 on 3rd down attempts throughout the season and failed to convert their only 4th down attempt. Compare that to New York, who is 1-1 of 3-9 on 3rd down tries and 2 of 3 on 4th down attempts. These teams love to run the football, as the Bears are averaging 34.7 rushing attempts per game while the Giants are averaging 30 carries per week. Justin Fields is not going to throw the football, and Daniel Jones is going to struggle a bit as well. Both defenses have been doing pretty well, as we highlighted earlier as well. The under has hit in 4 of the last 5 games against one another. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Seattle Seahawks versus Detroit Lions. The Seattle Seahawks head on the road to battle the Detroit Lions in an NFC clash on Sunday afternoon. The Seahawks were dealt a narrow home loss by the Falcons in their Week 3 action. The Lions couldn't hold a big lead in a road loss in Minnesota last week. The Seahawks clobbered the Lions by a 51-29 score last season. The Seahawks are 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 in Week 4 and 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 in October. Seattle is 6-14 against the spread in their last 20 versus the NFC. Meanwhile, the Lions are 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 overall and 4-0 against the spread in the last 4 versus the NFC. Detroit is 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 after an against the spread win. The Detroit Lions have been very profitable against the spread over the past season plus, but they've mostly been covering numbers as underdogs. For this Week 4 matchup with the Seattle Seahawks, they find themselves a significant favorite. I don't think it's a role in which this scrappy team will excel. The Lions are getting a whole lot of praise for a team that's 1-2, where the win was against the lowly Commanders. Beating Carson Wentz at home isn't exactly the biggest accomplishment these days. We're still talking about a Detroit defense that has given up at least 27 points in every game they've played, even to a floundering Washington offense. The Lions and new OC Brad Johnson are doing some fun things on offense, but Jared Goff still significantly limits the ceiling of this unit. For the visitors, Geno Smith quietly hasn't been half bad. Smith understandably struggled against the 49ers elite defense in Week 2, but he led Seattle to an upset win over the Broncos in Week 1, and he was very solid this past week against the Falcons. With Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, he's still got an elite receiving duo at his disposal. Detroit is really banged up, particularly on offense. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who has been the key to unlocking their new look offense, didn't practice on Wednesday with an ankle injury. There's just no way way I could lay this many points with the Lions, so the Seattle Seahawks to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't even close to being the only key Lions player on offense who is hurt. DeAndre Swift, T.J. Hawkinson, Frank Ragnow, Jonah Jackson, and Josh Reynolds all missed Wednesday's practice session as well. Jared Goff could be without virtually all of his weapons, and that's a recipe for disaster. The Seahawks have played one road game this season, and they scored 0 offensive points in that one. After Cordarrelle Patterson ran wild over the Seahawks last week, I'd expect the Lions to come out with a run-heavy game plan, especially with Detroit's pass catchers so banged up. The Lions have put some big numbers on the scoreboard, but the metrics tell a slightly less rosy story. Goff is completing less than 59% of his passes and is averaging only 6.7 yards per attempt. The only game this season in which he was an efficient passer was against a barely there Washington defense. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. New York Jets versus Pittsburgh Steelers. A pair of sub-.500 AFC teams take the field in search of a victory that would even their record in the Steel City. The New York Jets are on the road as they make the trip to face the Pittsburgh Steelers Sunday afternoon. New York was dropped 27-12 by Cincinnati at home, failing to cover as a 6.5-point underdog last Sunday in their previous contest. Pittsburgh was beaten 29-17 on the road by Cleveland, failing to cover as a 4.5-point underdog in their previous contest last Thursday. In the all-time regular season series between the teams, the Steelers own a commanding 18-6 advantage, though the Jets took the last meeting, prevailing 16-10 at home on December 22, 2019. The Jets are 16-33-2 against the spread in their last 51 road games and 4-10 against the spread in their last 14 games in October. The Steelers are 3-0-1 against the spread in their last 4 home games and 1-6-1 against the spread versus a team with a losing record. The over is 5-2 in Jets' last 7 road games. The under is 5-0 in Steelers' last 5 home games. The Jets are 2-5 against the spread in their last 7 meetings in Pittsburgh. The home team is 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 meetings. Pittsburgh can get back to .500 with a win over the Jets. After that, it will be a challenge to stay afloat unless Trubisky becomes whatever version of himself the Bears thought he could be when they drafted him 2nd overall in 2017. That's not to say Trubisky or the Steelers are terrible, just that their schedule is formidable. While Steelers fans are unhappy with their stadium's new name, they won't be any more hospitable to the visitors. The Jets are among the worst teams against the pass and should make Trubisky look competent. On the other side, there's plenty of buzz surrounding the return of Wilson, but who's blocking for him? Without Watt, the Steelers aren't as disruptive as they can be, but linebacker Alex Highsmith looks like a future star, and Malik Reed has experience rushing the passer as well. The New York Jets are a miracle comeback away from being winless on the season. Their offense doesn't finish drives, and their defense is slightly below average across the board. The Pittsburgh Steelers have issues of their own, mainly at quarterback, but they do get after it defensively, and they've had extra time to rest and prepare for this game. The Steelers have also been one of the better home teams dating back to last season. While the numbers may not be pretty for either side through 3 games, it's fair to say the Steelers are the better team here by a decent margin. Tomlin and the Steelers will return to the win column this week, so the Pittsburgh Steelers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. New York comes into this game with the under hitting in 2 of their 3 games this season. The Jets have posted combined point totals of 33 versus the Ravens, 61 versus the Browns, and 39 versus the Bengals in their games on the year. Those games had totals set by Vegas at 45, 38.5, and 46 points, respectively. Pittsburgh is in a similar situation, having seen the under hit in 2 of their 3 games. The Steelers have put up combined point totals of 43 versus the Bengals, 31 versus the Patriots, and 46 versus the Browns in their games this year. Those contests had totals set by the sportsbooks at 45, 40.5, and 38 points, respectively. It's tough to expect much from either offense at this point of the season. If Wilson were healthy and the Jets were at full strength on the offensive line, an argument could be made to bet the over. That's not the bet I would be making this week, given the circumstances. 4 of these teams' 6 combined games have gone under, and 14 of the last 16 between them have gone under a total of 40.5 points. I'm expecting Wilson to create some magic, but he won't pull several touchdowns out of his hat. A lower scoring game is in the cards yet again this weekend. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started.